am live. Hello, my name is Madison Mary Turner, and I also go by Billy Truce Gilmore because being a non-binary person on this planet is impossible. So, welcome. I am trying to advocate for myself as a non-binary person and get the surgeries that I so rightfully deserve in order to live my life, and also show you that you can live your life as a non-binary person and still be loved by your family and your friends. So I have a series of comic books and graphic novels that I have collected over the years. This is full, and there's all different kinds. So if you want me to read a specific comic book that I have, I will open it for you and I will read that. I have a lot of comic books from my dad. They're about fighting fascism, and there's lots of ads and old school stuff involved. So this is pretty unique. I have at least 2 that have swastika armbands being defeated, and I also have Looney Tunes with toy soldier advertising on the back. And I also have Turok, the Son of Stone, and that also has toy soldiers for sale on the back as well. So if you want something specific, I have a lot. I can try and find something that is more for you. For example, I have Superboy, I have Emma Frost, I have a lot of female superhero teams, I have the Runaways, I have Watchmen, I have Richie Rich, I have a lot of the Disney storybooks from when we were kids, like Pluto the Detective. And yeah, so if you would like me to read to you something that you have never seen and you think it looks really cool, just let me know and I will. I have a lot of stuff. This is all the stuff that I was able to collect from my childhood and keep, and it pretty much shows how I was raised as a non-binary person after childhood trauma. So I'm not alone. I'm not the only person that's like me in the world. There are a lot of non-binary people who have to present as either 100% male or 100% female to survive. And especially in our climate today, in order for me to get the surgeries that I would like to have to be in the body that I would like to live in, that is my body as I see it and have seen it since I was a little small person, is not being taken seriously because I am genetically a female at birth. I know that I'm a female at birth. I know that I have always known that, and I have never hated my femininity, but I have also never hated my masculinity, and nor has anyone in my family. The only times that I was ever not allowed to be myself was when I went to school, and I was forced to go to a Catholic school, trained out of me, and I was taught how to be the ideal person. Connection is unstable. Hi, connection was unstable. So yeah, in 1999, this was a letter they sent home for Catholic education. It says, note, St. Anne School Council will be providing babysitting for younger children in the library. There was just a lot of like, you can trust us because we're religious going on, and that was not a good thing. This was me right before I started a lot of Christian work with the school and like learning about that stuff. This is me in college at a party that my friend at the time was having. It was like a 60s party, and you had to dress like the era, so I did. This was a gift for when we were little. Like, we got clowns. Like, my mom decorated our nurseries with clowns. Like, it was very normal back then to love clowns. This is my baby bonnet, and it still fits. This was a card that I got when I was born from Holland, from our ancestors. It says ein Tochter. It means a daughter, and inside came with a handmade bib, and then they wrote a little note in their native language, which I can't read. And then it's from Holland, so you can see, and it came with the stamp and everything. This is what I was given for my first communion. Or like when I was born, I believe, like baptism. Like a child of God is born and you give them a tiny baby necklace. I don't know. My mom never put it on me because like she didn't understand why you would put a necklace on a baby. But this was like a teeny tiny little necklace, and I don't know if it was my sister's or if it was mine. And it's just so impractical to put this on your child when they're a baby. Like protect this child, it was baptized type of weird vibes. Yeah, so I have that. I also have a book that we were given so that we understood how to go to Mass. And it was part of a series of books made by reverends. It was called The Mass for Children, and it was part of a St. Joseph picture book series where it's pretty much a how-to on how to be a child of God if you don't understand or if you're new to Canada. So we were given these in school to learn. This was part of our religion class, was to be counseled on how to be a good Christian as a child. And we were punished if we did not participate, if we did it wrong, if we said something wrong. We were shamed, and the end result was to receive the Eucharist, which is the priest putting a piece of food in your mouth, which felt disgusting to go through as a child. And like we received Jesus, like that was so gross to me as a kid. And like, and then there's like the concluding rite, and I'm just like, ugh. The Mass closes with the sign of the cross, just as it began with one. This time, the sign of the cross is a blessing. And like, what was it before? I never understood this as a kid. And like, then it says, "Dear parents, the St. Joseph picture book series is intended to help you teach the basics of the Catholic faith to your children in an enjoyable manner. The book in the series deal with one or more of the following themes: 1, the teachings of the Church; 2, the Christian way of life; and 3, our Catholic worship, including both public and private prayers and devotions. Each book also carries the imprimatur of Archdiocese of New York, assuring you that the contents are in line with church teachings. The best-selling series that has been used and appreciated by thousands of children. They have been captivated by page after page of original 4-color illustrations and clear typographical layout. At the same time, their young minds have grasped the teachings set forth in simple, reverent language. May your children also experience the same enjoyment and knowledge." The publishers. Now 69 books in the St. Joseph Picture Book Series, magnificent new series of religious books for children, superbly illustrated in full color and simply written, that will help all children to better understand the Catholic faith, ideal for home or school, wherever Catholic books are sold. That was like indoctrination 101. Yeah. So if there's anything that you would like me to read, please chat and let me know. Like if you have a favorite superhero or you would like to learn about a superhero, please let me know. Yeah. I can start reading, but I just don't know where to start. I guess I can start with one of these ones. This is how I was introduced to Chip and Dale. It's called Donald Duck Buys a House by Walt Disney Productions. On the back it says, "This series is comprised of new stories and adventures and special adaptations of the Disney classics Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, Dumbo, Peter Pan, and all the other Disney favorites will be along to assist every youngster in exploring the wonderful world of reading. By using simple vocabulary and exciting new illustrations that fully explain the text, these books have been designed to encourage youngsters to read by themselves. So this is Donald Duck by the house. Okay. Donald Duck by the house. There's a little blurb here I'm going to read. First American edition, copyright 1986-1987, the Walt Disney Company. All rights reserved under international and Pan-American copyright conventions, published in the United States by Random House Incorporated, New York, and simultaneously in Canada by Random House of Canada Limited, Toronto. Originally published in Denmark and Anders and Drumhus by Gutenberg Gruppen, Copenhagen in 1986. ISBN number, manufactured in the United States of America. Walt Disney Productions presents Donald Duck Buys a House, Random House, New York. It was a beautiful summer day. Donald was driving in the country. He passed an old empty house. All of a sudden, Donald stopped. A sign was nailed to the fence. Did the sign say for sale? Yes, it did. Donald backed up the car and got out. He peered in the window of the house. He peered in a window. The house was very old. It needed lots of work. But Donald could see it now. He was lying in a hammock. Daisy was bringing lemonade. The boys were playing in the yard. What a life that would be. In a flash, Donald was back in his car, heading to town. Donald told Huey, Dewey, and Louie all about the house that then he called the owner. Before Donald knew it, he had bought the house. Well, boys, soon we will spend our holidays there, Donald said. May we go see the house now, Uncle Donald? Asked the boys. No, Donald said. First, I have to fix it up. Nobody has lived there for a long time. But Donald was wrong. Somebody was living there. 2 chipmunks, Chip and Dale, had made a nest in a room downstairs. The chipmunks were gathering food for the winter. They had put nuts in an old tree. Now they were busy bringing the nuts into the house. The next day, Donald got ready to go to work. Donald got ready to work on his new house. He loaded up his car and off he drove. When Donald got to the house, Chip and Dale were running out a window. Donald did not see the chipmunks, and they did not see him. Donald lugged his ladder and paint into the front hall. He opened up the paint can. Now he was ready to begin. Then Donald saw the chipmunks' mess. Oh boy, he said. I see I have a lot of work to do. I'll get started right away. Donald found a wastebasket, a dustpan, and a broom. He swept up the leaves and nuts and threw them away. He did not know he had swept away the chipmunks' home. Donald cleared away the cobwebs. Finally, he was ready to paint. He painted all the windows. When he was done, Donald went to bed. He was tired. Was he tired? Sorry. Soon after, Chip and Dale came home. Where did our nest go? Cried Chip. It was here when we left. The chipmunks jumped to the floor. They knocked over the can of yellow paint. Where did this paint come from? Asked Dale. All at once, they heard a noise coming from upstairs. Someone is here, said Dale. Let's go look. As they ran upstairs, they knocked over a can of blue paint. They left a trail of tiny footprints. The strange noise was growing louder. But very slowly, Chip and Dale opened the door. There was Donald snoring. Come on, said Dale. We must get out of here before he wakes up. And off they raced. Excuse me. Chip and Dale ran to the nearest nut tree. It had a hole with leaves and nuts inside. I miss our home, Dale said sadly. This will have to do for now, said Chip. All night the chipmunks sat eating nuts and throwing shells onto the roof below. I hope that duck goes away soon so we can have our old home back, said Dale. Ping, ping, ping. Donald woke up. What was that noise? Donald sat up. Was it a ghost? Or maybe there were robbers in the house. Donald hid under the covers. The sound went on and on. He did not get a wink of sleep all night. The next morning, Donald came downstairs, tired and grumpy. What a mess, he saw. There was paint and small footprints everywhere. Donald followed the footprints until he came to a tree. There sat Chip and Dale. Aha, you made this mess and the noise too, shouted Donald. I'll get you yet. I'll show you that picture. I think I have a plan, Donald said to himself. First, he sawed a hole in a broken floorboard. He put an empty bag with a long string into the hole. Then Donald covered the hole with a scarf. Next, Donald took a bag of nuts. He left a trail of nuts from the trap to the windowsill. It was not long before Chip and Dale spotted the nuts. They found the trail of nuts to the scarf. Then, all at once, down they fell into the bag. That mean duck, cried Chip. He set this trap. Well, I know a way to get out, said Dale. He showed Chip how to chew through the bag. Soon the chipmunks were free, and off they raced. Donald soon found the empty bag. He was really mad. I will get those chipmunks if it's the last thing I do, cried Donald. Donald got a box. He got a bell, some string, and a stick. He built a bigger and better trap. Donald sat down to wait for the chipmunks, but Donald was very tired, so he fell asleep very fast. A little while later, the chipmunks spotted the nuts under the box. I bet it's a trap, said Dale. If we are careful, we can get the nuts, said Chip. The chipmunks ran down the tree, but a porcupine came along just then. He scared Chip and Dale away. The porcupine saw the nuts too. He grabbed for them. The stick fell over, and down came the box. Ring, ring, went the bell. Wow, said Dale. It really is a trap. The bell woke Donald. He jumped up off his seat. He ran to the box. Oh boy, now I've got you, he shouted happily. Donald lifted the box just a little. Come out, you miserable chipmunks, he said. The porcupine leaped out of the box and knocked Donald down. Ouch, Donald was covered with quills. I have had it, Donald shouted. I'm leaving. Soon Donald was packed and ready to go. Just then a car drove up. Out stepped Daisy, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. They were carrying sleeping bags and lots of food. Donald, where are you going? Asked Daisy. We've come to visit. You can stay, but I am leaving, said Donald. He pointed to the tree. Those chipmunks have been living in the house. They make a terrible mess, and they keep me up all night. Look, the chipmunks were here before you, Daisy said to Donald. This was their home. You chased them out. Why don't you build them another home instead? That's an idea, said Donald. We'll help, said Huey, Dewey, and Louie. The boys and Donald got tools and wood. They went to work right away. Soon the house looked like a house. Then they painted it blue. Let's put it in the tree, said Dewey. Now everyone was happy. The chipmunks had a new home, and so did Donald. His dream had come true. There was always enough room around here for the chipmunks, Daisy told Donald. You just had to find enough room for them in your heart. That's the end. one. I'll read you Pluto the detective. Pluto was the dog, also the 9th planet that was renamed or doesn't exist as a planet. Walt Disney Productions presents Pluto the Detective, Random House, New York. I'm going to read this blurb down here. First American edition, copyright 1980 by the Walt Disney Company. All rights reserved under international and Pan-American copyright conventions. Published in the United States by Random House Incorporated, New York, and simultaneously in Canada by Random House of Canada Limited. Toronto, originally published in Denmark as Pluto som Detective by Gutenberg Bladen. Copenhagen, ISBN, manufactured in the United States of America. Mickey and his dog Pluto lived together in a cozy little house. They were very good friends. Every morning, Pluto ran out to get Mickey's paper. Then they played tug of war with the newspaper. Mickey always let it go first, so Pluto always won. Sometimes they played go fetch. Mickey threw a stick, Pluto ran after the stick and brought it back to Mickey. One day, Mickey was reading the paper. He saw something very interesting. Hey, Pluto, he said, listen to this. The paper says there was a big jewel robbery yesterday, Mickey said excitedly. $50,000 worth of jewelry was stolen from Otto's Jewelers. The owner is offering a $5,000 reward to anyone who helps find the jewels. I am sure the two of us could track down those robbers, said Mickey. Help me find my detective outfit. Mickey put on his detective hat and coat. Pluto put on his meanest look. They went outside and started searching. Pluto sniffed everything along the way. He kept his nose close to the ground so he would not miss anything. Then Pluto smelled something and started to run. Is it the robbers, Pluto? Mickey asked. Pluto just ran and ran. He pulled Mickey behind him. Suddenly, Pluto jumped over a fence and broke his leash. Mickey fell flat on his face. On the other side of the fence, Pluto found what he was looking for, a bone. But just then, Pluto saw Butch, the biggest, ugliest, meanest-looking bulldog Pluto had ever seen. The bone lay on the grass close to Butch. Luckily, Butch was asleep. Pluto knew he should not take the bone from Butch, but the bone was too good to pass up. Pluto picked up the bone very quietly. Just then, Butch opened one eye and growled. Off ran Pluto carrying the bone. Butch followed close behind, then ran down the street. They turned a corner and knocked over the grocer's fruits and vegetables. Pluto needed a place to hide from Butch. He saw a door and ran through it. He was going into the Hall of Mirrors. Inside, Pluto was surprised to see a lot of dogs. There were thin ones and fat ones. They were all carrying bones. You would read this sign. It says, see yourself as a dwarf or a giant. Dwarfism is a real thing. It's in my family. I have a cousin with dwarfism. This was definitely extremely inappropriate for children. Pluto thought it was very strange. Suddenly, he saw Butch. Butch looked huge. Pluto had to get away from him. Pluto ran out of the Hall of Mirrors. He was still holding the bone. Butch was chasing him again. Pluto almost ran into a little girl with a lollipop. She dropped her lollipop, and he dropped the bone. Butch picked up the bone and walked away. Pluto did not stop running until he came to the park. Then he saw that Butch was not chasing him. He looked for a place to rest. Pluto curled up under the park bench and fell asleep. Later, two men came into the park. One was short and one was tall. They were looking for something. The short man pointed to the park bench. "I hid the package of jewels under there," he said. "You fool," and said the tall man. "It is probably gone by now." The two men looked under the bench. There it is," said the short man. "It is under the dog." The package was wrapped in newspaper. The tall man reached for it. Just then, Pluto woke up. Pluto saw the man's hand on the package. He growled. The man tried to grab the package, but Pluto bit into it and would not let go. Just then, Mickey came into the park. He was feeling sad and tired. He had spent hours looking for Pluto. Then Mickey heard something. "That sounds like Pluto growling," he said to himself. Mickey whistled for Pluto. Pluto did not hear Mickey whistle. He was trying to get the package away from the two men. Finally, they lost their hold and fell down. Pluto trotted off while the package he was with the package. He was proud of himself. All of a sudden, he saw Mickey. Pluto cried. "Pluto!" cried Mickey happily. Pluto ran to Mickey and licked him on the face. Then the two men ran up. "That is our package," they said. "Give it to us." "Okay," said Mickey. The men grabbed the package from Mickey. Then the string came loose. Beautiful jewels began to tumble out. "These must be the jewel thieves we were looking for," Mickey said to himself. Mickey blew his whistle. The robbers were so busy picking up the jewels that they did not hear the two policemen came running and grabbed the thieves. Oh. The robbers were so busy picking up the jewels that they did not hear him. Two policemen came running and grabbed the thieves. "Thanks, Mickey," said the policeman. "You and Pluto did a fine job." The next night, Mickey and Pluto sat quietly by the fire. Mickey had the $5,000 reward. Pluto had a fancy new collar and a delicious new bone. On the fireplace it says, with thanks for a fine detective job, town police." The end. So Pluto stole, and then he was redeemed because he stole the right thing at the end, which is the message. There was never any culpability for Pluto stealing the bone from Butch. There was nor an explanation what gender Butch was or what kind of dog other than a bulldog, an angry bulldog. Yeah. So I don't know if this is interesting to people. I don't know if you would like me to keep doing this, but this is what I have. I have all of these things here. These were mine growing up. These are hand-me-downs from my dad and things that I collected on my own. So I have all of these. There's Looney Tunes, there's Sergeant Rock, there's Metropolis, there's Unknown Soldier, Sergeant Fury, Turok, Son of Stone, The Incredible Hulk, Doctor Strange, How Doc Got His Cloak. I have Superboy. I have What If Nova Had Been Four Different People. I have 4 Richie Rich comic books that are from that era. And they all have, like, this is for Sea Monkeys. This is for Super Prizes, Join Young Youth Opportunity Sales Club. And then the 2004 Revolutionary War Soldiers that you could buy You get 36 dragons, they're cavalrymen, 12 shooting infantrymen, 12 marching infantrymen, 12 crouching infantrymen, 12 fifers, 12 charging infantrymen, 12 sharpshooters, 12 field cannon, 12 cannon loaders, 12 drummers, 12 minutemen, 24 Mohawk Indians, 12 officers, and 12 Hessian troops, spelled Hessian. And that was made by Harvey Comics. Nova was a Marvel comic. You can see up here. It was approved by the Comic Book Authority, which was a very elitist group. There wasn't much you could publish that they didn't like. This is a Gold Key comic, and it's got toy soldiers on the back as well. So it's a little bit contradictory of the point of the comic book, when you can buy a Foot Locker that contains tanks, jeeps, battleships, cruisers, sailors, riflemen, machine gunners, sharpshooters, infantrymen, officers, wakes, WACS, bombers, trucks, jet planes, cannon, bazookamen, and marksmen. And that's for $1.50. And this comic book was 30 cents at that time. So if that's any consolation of what money was spent on when you got allowance back then, it's definitely spent on learning, but not fully taking it into consideration. So there's an advertisement for Captain Marvel and Killer Bee and Son, which I'm going to read because it's super important. Calling Captain Marvel, a family of outer space killer bees are heading for Earth, dragging us with them. Well, I'll be a king and a queen and a bee. Well, I'll be a king, a queen, and a bee. Buzz off, Captain Marvel. Yes, my queen, we'll steal all the flowers from Earth and bring them to our planet in this spaceship. And the world without flowers is a world with a funny smell, right? I love to pull the petals off. I'm going to trap those dirty bees. First stop the CD, Botanical Gardens, USA Earth. Approaching CD, spelled SEEDEE, Botanical Gardens. When we land, my baby BB, you'll be the first bee to pick the flowers. Well, while I waited, I planted something nice in each flower. The bees are loading my spaceship, but not with flowers. Wait, you forgot the flowers. What forgot? Who wants flowers? We found delicious Hostess Twinkie cakes. In each one, golden sponge cake, creamed filling, trapped by your own flights of fancy, my busy little bees, now to the local beehive with you. We almost had it all, our own spaceship, our own flowers, our own Twinkie cakes. Next time, my queen, we stick to the flower business. You get a big delight in every bite of Hostess Twinkie cakes. So yes, Captain Marvel said, well, I'll be a king, a queen, and a BB. And then we go into Turok, Son of Stone, the mightiest hunter, where he's literally fighting dinosaurs. Or they. Turok, Son of Stone, number 109, May 1977, published bi-monthly by Western Publishing Company, Incorporated, North Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, 12602, all rights reserved throughout the world, printed in USA, copyright 1977 by Western Publishing Company, Incorporated. This periodical may not be sold except by authorized dealers and is sold subject to the conditions that it shall not be sold or distributed with any part of its cover or markings removed, nor in a mutilated condition, nor affixed to nor as a part of any advertising, literary, or pictorial matter whatsoever. So it's illegal to read these. That's what it says. Cannot be part of any advertisement, literary, or pictorial matter whatsoever. And I don't know if that's a true copyright, but hi, I opened my comic book like you told me I would go to hell for. Sorry. Just think it's super important because everyone should read it. It's not like they're going to make a movie out of this one. Ads. I think it'd be cool if you screenshotted them and read them. I can't read everything again, but I can show you so that you can read them. Ads. Ads. 99 cents to get your favorite cartoon character and these brilliant embroidered cloth patches. Ad. And then this is the last page. You can get posters and ad. And this was from 1977, so advertising has been a huge part of people's lives, and it's dictated a lot of how we think and how we feel about certain things, without actually realizing that we were being manipulated into believing that. It's pretty obvious that even though this is an incredible story, they had to affix it to a ton of white-centered ads that predominantly only showed white people or talked about white problems, which is crazy, especially when you have soldiers for sale in the back. And like this one has legitimate like Mohawk Indian characters that you can buy, and it's on the back of a Looney Tunes comic book. So yeah, like Disney had a huge play in colonization, or like at least not giving a shit about it and not really doing anything other than like using it as a tool to make sales. And that's kind of been our life. Yeah, like what if Nova had been 4 other people? The Fantastic Four, Peter Parker, and Dr. Doom. Like the mightiest heroes, the deadliest villains, 4 Titanic tales, possibly the most sensational epic you'll read this month. And that was 60 cents. It's a what if comic from Springfield. Cash prizes. Call the number. Battlestar Galactica shirts. And I think those are also posters, but I believe those are just mostly shirt graphics. And then the stunning saga of an alternative reality. What if someone else had become Nova? It's me. It's me. It's me. I became the. What If, published by Marvel Comics, James E. Gelton, President Stan Lee, Publisher, Office of Publication, 575 Madison Avenue. It's my birth name. New York, New York, 10022, published by Monthly, Bisexual by Monthly. Copyright 1979 by Marvel Comic Group, a division of Cadence Industries Corporation. All rights reserved, Volume 1, Number 15, July 1979 issue. Price 60 cents per copy in the US and Canada. No similarity between any of the names, characters, persons, and or institutions in the magazine with those of any living or dead person or institution is intended, and any such similarity which may exist is purely coincidental. Printed in the United States of America, this periodical may not be sold except by authorized dealers and is sold subject in the conditions that it shall be not be sold or distributed with any part if its cover or markings removed, nor in a mutilated condition. Second class postage paid at New York, New York, and additional mailing offices. So worlds coexist with many other worlds, for there are levels of reality, and your planet Earth exists on but such level. On one Earth, a man will live, yet on an identical Earth, the man will die. While on a third identical world, the man will lie comatose. The man exists on all three worlds, the same man, and yet a very different man. Listen now and learn of 4 such worlds and 4 such heroes, similar and yet different from the man you call Nova. On your planet of reality, a rocket streaked earthbound less than 1 year ago. I'm trying to get a better internet connection so that I know it's very bad quality, but I can't afford to get anything else. So um, I have what I have, and I don't have any type of funds to buy what I need to make this better right now. So, this is purely just for information. And if you would like me to read something, then it's audio based, it's not visual based. I will read it to you and I will try and show you the pictures when I can. That's all I'm trying to do, is just let other people have access to these types of resources that they may not have had access to when they were growing up but wanted to. These are all hand-me-downs by my parents, and yeah, they're very important, and I'll be here. So please DM me on Instagram or Facebook, and I will try and get back to you. I also have an email address at reahingout.to.madisonturner at gmail.com. If you would like me to read something specific, I have a lot. And if you would like to send me something to read, I can do that too. Yeah, I just find that it becomes a little bit more palatable when somebody's reading it to you, and we're talking about it together. So thank you for joining me. And I know this was a little strange, but I really appreciate your time. And if you ever want me to read anything, please just let me know, because I have resources and I am willing to share those for free. Have a great day.